Good evening, everyone. Warm welcome to the course demo webinar and the placement journey. My name is Jayakumar. I'm part of Emertxe's leadership team. Along with me, I have my colleague and our technology head, Mr. Mubeen. So typically, we run this webinar every month, primarily addressing two major objectives. The first one being to share certain perspectives about the job market, what is happening in the electronics, embedded semiconductor job market, what are the recent trends, and with a lot of things going around in terms of the geopolitical challenges, the AI coming in, and the Indian GCC is taking over, domestic electronic demand. There are a lot of things that are happening there. We'll spend a good amount of time about to understand what these trends are all about and how it is going to affect you. Let us understand that. Then subsequently, we will get into the second part, that is course demo part, where my colleague Mubeen will take over, where he will mention about our course structure, how those modules are going to get delivered, and how basically you can take the journey of skill building with Emertxe, starting from initial level and then subsequently building all the way up to the skilled embedded engineer, and then getting yourself ready for the placements. And as a third part, we'll again come back and talk about placements. We'll talk about basically how the placement process works in Emertxe and when you can start applying and things like that. We'll also cover a bit about the certification aspect, when and how you can apply for certification. So that's going to be the broad agenda for today. So time to time I'll pause and take your questions, but you don't need to wait. You can ask your questions anytime. You don't need to wait. Just type it in the chat window. I'll pick it up and then answer. Okay. With that note, we'll get started. I guess a good number of you know, but it's my responsibility and my pleasure to introduce about Emertxe. We are a tech company. We've been in this education field for more than 20 years. At a high level, we are solving two problems. One is the employability problem, where how do we make the fresh engineers employable? As you all know, India has become a country of engineers. Every year we have 1.5 million engineers coming out of the colleges, and in that, very minuscule percentage of them are having the employable skills. So that's where we come in. We offer long-term immersive hands-on training programs in embedded systems, IoT, and full stack development. These are all three different tracks. These are all long-term 6 months plus programs, where students will take up these programs. They get themselves hands-on with a set of skills and a good number of industry projects which they can represent in the resume and then showcase to the employer. That's the first step, and so they become employable. In the similar lines, we also offer the programs to working professionals who wanted to get ahead in their career by upskilling themselves, and also provide programs to organizations who wanted to train their staff to basically become more skilled so that they can take on more complex product development and stuff like that, right? So that's what we do. Any training program that we take the hands-on approach. You can see the hand making pot. Definitely, if you want to make a pot, you need to make your hands dirty. So that's what our approach is. So that way, when the students are very much involved hands-on and they're very much immersed in nature, so that's when basically the learning happens, and then the outcome in terms of placements and skill building happens. Okay, so that's about Emertxe. Coming to our leadership team, three of us are part of the leadership team. Mr. Maas is the founder and the managing director of the organization. He actually heads our company. We have multiple departments. He mainly looks into the business side of the things. My name is Jayakumar. I'm one of the part of the leadership team. I primarily head the end-to-end delivery responsibilities, which includes basically managing a team of mentors or student success counselors, and then the placements team who basically interfaces with the client, and then understanding what they need, and ensuring that students are getting trained as per the requirements, and then working with the placement team to ensuring that the drives are getting scheduled and students are prepared and things like that. So that's what I do. And this has been 12 years for me with Emertxe. And before Emertxe, I spent another 12 years with three different corporate companies. Started with a company called Ishoni Networks, then went to HP, Hewlett Packard. Followed by that, I was with Huawei for about 3.5 years, predominantly in the embedded networking space. Played different roles, right from a entry-level engineer all the way up to the senior manager or group manager, heading the end-to-end Linux portfolio delivery for Huawei. Okay. So that was my last stint with corporate, and definitely after that, I was really passionate about work in the field of education. That's when I quit Emertxe and then joined Emertxe as a part of the leadership team. So today, basically it's been a 12 years I played different roles here. Initially, I used to teach along with Mubeen. We were the senior instructors, I would say. Then we moved on. I more look into the delivery side, and Mubeen definitely will introduce himself, right? He will also share his perspectives. That's about me, and all the outbound webinars we co-host a lot of times, addressing the young engineers, giving them the guidance. That is what actually passionates all of us, right? So that's about our leadership team, about what I do. Maybe I would like to pause and request Mubeen to briefly introduce himself. Mubeen, are you there?
Yeah, I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you are audible, Mubeen. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
please.
Good evening, all. And as you got a brief introduction to our leadership team, I work as a technology head at Emertxe. I'm having around 20 plus years of work experience. Graduated as a computer science engineer in 2003. And since then, I have worked in multiple companies in different roles. I started my career as a software engineer with Emertxe itself. I worked closer to 2 years developing different software applications, primarily for EDA tools and device drivers, as well as certain applications um, based upon agricultural automation, etc. So post that, I joined Novel, which was a company based in Bangalore, and Novel used to develop applications for groupware suite of products, as well as they had SUSE Linux as one of the key projects. So I worked in the SUSE development team, primarily developing application level features for one of their products, and also managed the build environment for the SUSE Linux portfolio of products. I worked for a short time in Novel, then I moved to HP. And in HP, I was fortunate to work in two teams. Initially, I started working on product development and bug fixing for one of their output development management teams. So I primarily come from a development background. And post that, I moved to a team which was responsible for developing HP Linux print fax device drivers, and there I was fortunate to lead a team of engineers, primarily developing the printer software. Post that, I joined back to Emertxe, and at Emertxe, initially I was responsible for developing the software products for the embedded systems portfolio. So back then, I would say we didn't start as a training organization. We started as a product development organization, developing embedded software and hardware, primarily for agricultural automation and industrial automation. So that's when I started my career as an embedded software engineer. So we used to design and develop hardware and software for these streams. And then we pivoted into training. So when we started training, I was responsible for delivering training for many of the subjects and modules which are part of the embedded software courses. And it's been almost 15 years since I've been working with Emertxe as a technology head. So initially I was delivering the courses, then I took the uh, like uh, uh, department of technology, wherein we used to manage the technical mentors. I was heading that department. And now I'm focused primarily on creating new course contents in different modes. So I'm working on delivering creating new contents as such. So, and today's webinar, we will focus on giving an overview about what embedded systems and IoT courses all about, and how it's going to help you to build a career as an embedded software engineer, and what will be the course contents, as well as what are the pedagogy we will be following, so that you can learn things effectively and eventually become an embedded software engineer and get placed in core companies. So that will be the focus of today's discussion. If you have any questions related to that, feel free to ask. So I hand over to Jay, who will be continuing now. Post that, I will take over and explain the necessary things required to become an embedded engineer.
Thank you, Mubeen. So what I'll do is I will go off the camera. Sometimes cameras disturb the flow. Time to time we can switch it on. Let me just turn off the camera and then continue with the presentation. So moving on, one of the key point that over the years that we have built is a strong relationship with these hiring companies. These companies, as you all know, they work in the semiconductor or the devices or the product segment. These companies, either they make a chipset, like for example, Microchip or Qualcomm, or companies who use those chipsets and make products out of it, like Honeywell or LG, right? These type of organizations. So we are partnered with more than 1,500 companies, and this is just a snapshot. You can check into our website and also into our social media to get to know about what is the latest. This is like slightly logos maybe little old, but yeah, to get the latest. Then these logos keep changing. Just to give a snapshot, so you can just check on these website and social media. I'll also walk you through some of the pages in the subsequent section, right? So before we get into that, one of the important thing that all of us should know is about what is happening in the job market. Sometime back we were talking about this India electronic story, semiconductor story, how it is going to unfold, how many jobs it is going to create, and that was a narration that we had for the past 1.5 years. But if you look at last 6 months, things have changed very fast. So I would say last month or so, our team has been pondering quite deeply about where the job shifts are happening. We actually seeing what is happening in the market and the media. We are in touch with regularly in touch with recruiting companies, and when you say recruiting companies, it's mainly people who are in various roles, in HR role, in the technical role, and then people who are decision makers, who are at the director level, VP level, etc. So we have been talking with all of them and attending a lot of conferences to understand where the job market heading and stuff like that. So the subsequent slides, basically we are going to cover about what is happening there, so that you get an idea about the real thing. And whatever we are going to say, this is not a sensationalized media news or some type of a hot news. These are all very much reality and what we have based on the first hand information. Okay, so let us understand this. There are 4 key trends that currently influencing the job market. The first one, definitely, you all know, whenever there is any type of media that we go through, be it WhatsApp or TV or internet or anywhere, definitely AI buzz is everywhere, right? So AI basically bringing in transformative changes, where it is bringing in a lot of automation and replacing a lot of lower end jobs. Okay? And then there is also definitely a fear in your minds also, what will happen to my career, if AI is going to take away all the jobs. Okay? The second thing, definitely we saw in the everyday, the television, the geopolitics, the tariffs, and the political equations between the countries and changing how the trade done globally. It is going through a lot of changes. Countries are getting into various dynamics of conversations. Every day you hear things are changing very fast. So whenever there is a political uncertainty, or there is a political cloud which is not very favorable for the trade or business, generally things slow down. Okay, and then there's a lot of visa restrictions, etc. is also coming. Okay, definitely we see that. The third one, on the positive side, we also hear that there is thing called a global capacity centers. When you say global capacity centers, companies which are opening up their India branches, or they're already having an India branch, which they initially started off as a offshoring or outsourcing. When you say outsourcing and offshoring, they were doing the core work in the headquarters, basically in the US or UK, any other country. But whichever they want to do maintenance or sustenance, or they want to do some incremental work, those type of work used to come to the Indian outsourced or the at the offshore centers, right? Now that has gone through a lot of change, where today it's not about outsourcing or offshoring. It's about building some capability of people in these centers so that they will be able to deliver high-end R&D output. Okay, so that is where the GCCs are coming into picture. And in the similar lines, definitely we also see a lot of media or information about the Indian semiconductor story. Okay, because there's a lot of domestic need that is coming up, as we see areas like electric vehicles, defense. These 2 segments are really driving a lot of demand, fueled by Indian market. So for which companies are gearing up, and companies are setting up manufacturing plants, and to basically start manufacturing the hardware and the the semiconductors. Subsequently, it is going to generate a lot of manufacturing jobs. When I say manufacturing jobs, definitely it is more focused on ITA or a diploma students or a diploma holders. But definitely, it also open up a lot of design jobs. When I say design jobs, include both the hardware design and the software design, where the embedded software design is where we are going to focus, right? So there is a lot of thing happening here, and there are a lot of products that are getting developed out of India. If you take typical automotive companies, be it a company like Ather and Ola, who are the new breed of electric vehicle companies, and then also existing two-wheeler company like TVS or Bajaj, they're already moving to the EV space. And in terms of four-wheeler, there's more changes that are happening. For example, company like Mahindra are more venturing into the EV space. So these things are driving a lot of jobs, and they're expecting that the next big thing in India, it is going to happen from the semiconductor industry, where the manufacturing segment is going to generate jobs for the diploma holders. Then subsequently, the design jobs, which will be basically driving more jobs in the BE, Tech or MEM Tech segment where you guys belong to. Okay. So this is what the four trends you would like to summarize what is happening here. Okay. So just to understand this better, we just made this particular diagram in a very easy way to understand. Suppose you want to make a shirt, or let us think about as a product. It could be any product. Let us say, for example, you are planning to, make a complex telecommunication router or a wearable device for that matter. Consider it to making it a shirt, right? Okay. So the basically when in the first wave or the second wave of technology started, when the Infosys and Wipros of the world started the software development out of India, followed by that many companies started opening up their India offshore centers. So when they were working on which I was part of, and Mubeen and part of to a larger part of her career in the initial career, right? So we were actually not basically working on the entire product or entire the solutioning point of view, right? We were working on some portion of it where we used to develop, test and release to the headquarters or the companies where the decision makers are sitting, and they will integrate, test, and then further release a product, right? So considering the analogy of shirt making, you can relate with fabric cutting, stitching, finishing, pressing, packaging, maintenance, right? Whenever you want to make a shirt, right? These are all the activities that you need to do, right? But what is happening here? The wave is moving towards, when you talk about GCCs and the domestic R&D needs, right? The domestic electronic needs. We are talking about creating an entire shirt. When you say creating an entire shirt, you should be in a position to design, develop, right, and then manufacture the entire product from India. Okay, so that is where, for example, they take a case of Ather bikes, right? They do entire thing out of India, and then the users are also in India. Probably they will start exporting it after some time, but predominantly if you look at it, the users are from India only. So here, what is the challenge here is, if you look at the job market, right? Okay, these initial jobs, whichever we talk about, they were actually focusing on one portion of the overall work. So that's what resulted in mass scale hiring, where companies used to come to campuses and hiring few hundreds, few thousands sometime, right? And then the entry level barrier was less. It doesn't matter whether you are from an ECE or a triple E or a computer science or civil or mechanical. They'll hire anybody, and then they had a factory model. They hire in bulk, and then they had this large scale training centers where they will hire. And then the main game was cost. It is a cost. Instead of hiring n engineers in the US, one engineer in the US, in India you can hire n engineer. That way we were cheaper in terms of the cost. So that's when they started doing the development, and they were doing one piece of the work, right? Now if you see, that has clearly changed. Okay. Now when you want to create an entire shirt, mapping back to this shirts analogy what we saw when we saw previous slide, right? So from the mass scale hiring, it has basically become a skill based hiring. Okay. So mass scale hiring, I'm pretty sure as you guys are sitting, I understand predominantly all of you from a 2026 batch, I'm pretty sure all of you would agree that type of a mass scale hiring is not happening in the campuses, and I'm not sure whether it will ever return, because the changes that AI is driving, it's a tectonic shift or a transformative change, where many times we are not going to go back where we started. So that means, say what, it is not about mass scale hiring in terms of numbers. It is about a specific hiring where we are going to have a specific skill set is getting the need of these companies, right? Because of which definitely the entry barrier has become higher. Not like you can make it with a 1 or 2 months training. You have to minimum basically go through 6 months of training, build projects, build your portfolio, make it very compelling for the companies to recruit you, which are driven by more of innovation and value. It is no longer about cost. In fact, cost barriers are steadily eroded. If you look at the cost difference, let us say we are in Bangalore, to recruit one engineer in Bangalore and one engineer in any other place, let us say in US or UK, the difference is not big. So the companies are looking for beyond cost advantage. So that is what driving basically, the skill based hiring and the entry barrier is getting higher. Okay. So if you see, right, the mass scale hiring and the geopolitics is mainly affecting the left side of the story. Whereas when you spoke about GCC and India Semicon, that is basically driving the right side of the story. Okay. So where, if you look at the left side, job losses are happening. Because as I said, when it is the mass scale, and then they're actually doing an entry barrier which is less, that is where it's getting automated, which can be done by a AI, or it can be done, or it can be due to geopolitics. Instead of getting work done from India, maybe the work will move somewhere else. Right? That's the dynamics, right? Whereas if you look at the right side of the story, which is becoming more skill based, the entry barrier has become higher and driven by innovation and value. We still see companies are hiring. But as I said, these companies, when they hire, they are not looking based on numbers, based on the the quantity. They're looking for quality. For example, instead of sending 100 people and selecting 30 of them, they're telling, no, give me 10 people in which I want to select the right two, and then I want to keep on hiring. Okay. It's not about the number of job openings. It's all about the skill and the entry barrier that is required for the industry. Okay. Kindly note, this has gone through a lot of change. When you're in a college, right, probably majority of you will be in the college. I don't know which year of pass out you are from. What was happening, the left hand side of the story as steadily shifting to the right hand side of the story. So my request to all of you is, it is your choice, right? When the things are moving right side to left side to right side, right? Better you be here, not here. Okay, because which is going through a lot of challenges, right? Okay. So whether if you want to be part of the right side of the story, that is what we are going to talk further. What are the skill set and what are the the portfolio that we need to build so that you become basically presentable to the placement companies. Okay. So that's about the job market, what is happening, right? So if you look at the data, I'm not telling you based on trend. As I said, these slides also, these 4 trends also we derived based on discussion with a lot of people, a lot of sources and first-hand sources. I'm not talking, we just did a Google or, whatever. We did a chat GPT and we are doing, no, right? We, of course, we talk to a lot of people. Day to day, we deal with companies, and that is where we derive these insights. Okay. So now, if you want to be on the right side, right, definitely, there are some numbers which are supporting the GCCs, the growth and where the revenues are coming from and what is the growth that are expected from the GCCs, etc. Right. Similarly, the India semiconductor, as you can see, right, India is becoming, not only a manufacturer of electronics component, not only that, we're also becoming big consumers because, today you get up in the morning and you go back to sleep in the night. How many electronic devices that you come across? And as I speak, even yesterday or day before yesterday, there was a news where, the Indian government is pushing more investments into the defense sector, where we want to manufacture our own, warfare equipments and related, all the other stuff, right? Monitoring equipments and all. It's all boiling down to the electronics and embedded industry only. Please understand that. Serves with EVs, right? And definitely India with a young population, right? A lot of consumer electronics that is happening. It could be in form of a watch, right? Wearable device, and it could be definitely mobile phones, right? Any other similar electronic gadgets that we use, right? In terms of the wireless headset and stuff like that. In fact, today we're just discussing the, some of the placement applications, the companies, right? I saw a company who are making a high quality headset, basically the wireless headset from a place called Palakkad in Kerala. Okay. Some of you people who are from Kerala or nearby states may know, right? It's a pretty small town or a medium sized town, I would say. Okay. So from there, they're building such things. So the evolution has started already. It's up to basically us, basically to you guys to catch up with, so that you can build a career on on this particular advantage, right? What we are seeing. So what it means to you as a graduate in the college, right? The bulk hiring is going through a change, largely influenced, right? The volume-based hiring is changing into a skill-based hiring because the simple reason is earlier, whatever you're doing, you're part of making a shirt versus when you want to build the whole shirt, right? There's a huge difference, right? And then it's not about services. Basically, my request is you have to adapt. Okay, we cannot fight against, because even the pandemic was there, right? Many people used to tell, oh, it's not a pandemic, people are just doing rumors, there's nothing called corona, etc., right? But the point is, the more we resist the change, right, it becomes more difficult for you to build a career. So let us accept that A is going to be there, or it's already there. Whatever the geopolitics, it's going to be there for some time, right? It is up to you to move to the right side of the story where there is a job growth and the opportunities are there. Rather than relying on the old way of approach. What worked for you probably even I would say 1.5 year, 2 year back, right? It's not going to work for you because the expectations, as I speak, right? We discuss with companies on a very regular basis, right? Definitely which means we need to the expectations have gone only high, it's getting only higher and higher. So where we need to basically get on to building a skill set and then showcase that talent to the companies. Okay, so that's what it means to you. So coming back, right, this is all looking trendy and definitely what is happening, the first hand information, how it boils down to Emertxe. This is an important graph that we show in every monthly placements meeting, right? So if you see on a monthly basis, because of the right side story, be it in form of GCCs or the domestic electronic needs, or some of the GCCs want to get their work done from a smaller or a mid-sized player, right? So those are the companies which are hiring our students. You can see this graph. The blue ones are nothing but the last year's placement companies where we had around 40, 50 companies used to come. And this year also similarly, we are having these numbers. You can see in the month of Jan, we had 55 companies, followed by 63, 56. You can see the numbers which are hovering around 60s and 70. Last month we closed at 60. This month we are at 34 as of today. I just took the data from a placement team before coming to the webinar. Probably we have one more week left, and another challenge has been this month has been little month of holidays, almost 2 weeks between Diwali and Dashara, right? And that too it came on a long weekend and stuff like that. I still see Bangalore is not back yet, with all the companies coming back, interviews getting postponed and things like that. Hopefully, we'll be able to see some numbers moving up in the subsequent month, right? So this is what basically the reality is all about, how the job market is changing and how basically our placement companies are coming, right? And these companies definitely, as I said, the expectations have gone up. And other plus point is that whatever the openings that they have, right, they are actually not able to fulfill, right, our their requirements, right, with our students, right? They have more openings, right? With our students, they're not able to fulfill. That's what we are pushing for. Suppose a company comes and tells we should have 10 openings, right? I'm pushing my team to ensure that they're able to fill all the 10. That's what we're working at. Okay, so that's the overall update. Now, by utilizing these opportunities, definitely, a lot of stories are happening. The success stories, the freshers who are out of college or 1 year back, 2 year back, working professional who joined, but they were working in some domain, transition to this embedded. And we also see a lot of students basically, have a career break due to some reason, due to higher studies, due to family reasons and health reasons. And sometimes, we see a lot of girl students who basically take a break due to pregnancy, family relocation, etc. And these students can come from an online and offline because this course is delivered in both the modes, right? So combination of all these things we are seeing, right? As long as the student is building up the skill set and when the opportunity is present to them, definitely they are able to leverage this. Okay, so you can look into our Instagram page to get a view of what we are talking about. So these are some of the latest success stories. There is this working professional Pratik who basically moved from Bosch to Qualcomm. He actually career transition. And very recently, we had students like Hitesh and Tanuja who got placed in company like Siemens and Chelsea, which is basically premium companies who are doing good work in the embedded domain. And you can also see regular posts coming, which are all the companies have come on a particular week, right? And then many other testimonials coming in. And then recently, the American Megatrends was hiring our students, right? And then some of the updates here. So you can see this, very regularly. Our team posts that. Here also you can see there's a career transition where a student was working somewhere in the Sona Comstar, then he is able to transition to Mistral, one of the core embedded systems company, right? Like this, the transformation stories keep coming in our website, and then you can social media website, right? Both we publish. You can probably check it out in detail, or probably you already checked out. I would leave it to you. You can definitely look into it, where our team keeps posted about what is happening. One of the other important thing that we understand is that basically whatever we do, it is very much available in public domain, and we share everything in an open manner. So that way you can check it out, whatever the medium that you are connected with, and see what is happening with the placements. Okay, so this is pretty much what I wanted to share. Basically, where the job market is heading, influenced by 4 factors: AI, geopolitics, GCC, and the domestic need. And then what is the type of companies that are coming, and how our students are able to crack and then get into a career in this domain. Okay, With this, I would like to pause and check, is there any questions so far? Any questions, whatever I shared so far? You can also type it in the window. I minimize my screen. Any questions? You can type it in the chat window. I'll take a look if any questions. All right, probably we can, anyways, we have time, we'll definitely answer them. So what I would request is, I would request Mubeen to take over the second piece. We discussed about the first piece, that is job market trends and the, what is happening in immersive placement trends and how our students are basically converting the opportunities into placements. I will hand it over to Mubeen, basically to explain about the, technical aspects of the course. Okay, let me just, unshare my screen. Mubeen, you may want to go ahead.
Yeah, sure, Jay. Let me just share my screen. Once again, I'm just having some issue sharing. Let me try to share. Jay, can you continue for some more time? I'm having some issue sharing the screen. I may have to restart the application.
Okay, Mubeen, no problem. I can continue for some.
Yeah, give me some 3-4 minutes. I'll try.
Sure, no problem. Yeah. So let me continue, guys. I'm just seeing a couple of questions here. Let me just take it. Naeem is asking, so is there any internship opportunity from your company? I can answer it in two ways, Naeem. So again, the word of internship has become very, loosely coupled, right? There are two ways that we are working with the students these days. One is, for example, if any student wanted to get a exposure to the embedded systems, how basically they can do get a kickstart. Typically, we do it for college students. We run around 1.5 to 2 months. 1.5 is what we do, and then half a month we give 2 weeks where the students work on the projects and then they submit the basically output. So that is one basically way in which that's like absolutely a free internship program which we are doing. Kindly note that doesn't come with a placement. That is mainly to give an exposure, right? And after it, we learned that many of the colleges are looking for a longer term internship program. Let us say 6 months, and we saw specifically with the 2025 students, right? There is a lot of colleges as pretty much has given the final year very much open, right? So what they have done is they have enrolled for our placement oriented course, which we are discussing today, where they divided into 3 phases. In the phase 1, they basically came and they completed the programming modules, the Linux system, C and C++. They worked on some decent number of projects basically, and then they went back to the college, completed their course or a module, so course related things, came back, continued the remaining modules, and they are just in the process of completing and then moving on to the placements and stuff like that, right? That comes with the placement, and whatever they did in phase 1, that they actually demonstrated because they worked on good number of projects, and the college also asked for some artifacts which we submitted, which they demonstrated to the college, and then they submitted as an internship. So those are two modes that we work on internship. Often our students get confused these days. That's why I want to clarify. That's how we work. Okay, Naeem. Okay. I'm a 2024 pass out, still, pretty much interested in embedded domain, but career gap is my biggest problem. Almost wasted 1.5 years, 1.4 years. Am I eligible for this? Yes, definitely, Abhinami. As I said, in the placement graph which I showed, right? In that, basically, almost 40% of the companies, right, are actually hiring for students who are from any era pass out. Okay, and a good number of them, they don't even care about the the academic criteria also. For example, today I was working with my team, right? Almost like let me just today's update. Let me share you. There were around 7 companies which I was working on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companies. In which today's, as you see, right? As I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. Yeah, 6 companies out of 7. I'm talking about today. The names here. They're telling, right, they don't care about the era password. Only one company, that too, one company is specifically asking for 2024 and 2025. And you say no era password, right? They can be from any era password. So that's a an update based on today's thing, right? And that's quite normal because companies, when they come to us, they mainly look for the skill set. Okay, so I don't see any issue of you. You're very well eligible, right? You can very well, consider taking up this course, right? Okay. Then we have somebody from Ireland. Okay, interesting. We have Mopai Shuila. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. Mopai or Poi. I don't know how to pronounce it. Maybe if I'm pronouncing it wrong, regrets for the same. He's from Ireland and trying to register for this course, but I am not able to. I graduated as an electronic engineer 2022. Okay, I don't know why you are not able to register, because we also do have international students, primarily from the Europe and Middle Eastern area, where the time zone also suits. For example, it's 7:45 here, roughly in India, which will be kind of little bit in the afternoon time, then 4 or 5 hours of gap, right? So, or sometimes in the early mornings, depending on the time zone you are in. That way, they are able to comfortably take up this course. So, let me just take your name. Let me also note down your email ID here. I could see that. Uh, you know. Um, because with your email ID, our team should be able to check you in the database. Just a minute, let me note down. Okay, so taken down email ID. I will ask our team to get in touch with you. Definitely, they can help. We have a track record of basically international students doing this course. Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. So, is this course only for Indian students? No. Okay. It's okay. So, Abhirami, I think I've answered. Then there's a question from Rahul. So, can you please explain about the 2 years placement assistance? Give me some time, Rahul. As I said, we are in the first phase of the webinar, right? Where we just discuss about the job market trends, right? And then, how the placements, high level trend, and how the students are getting into job. We just discussed that. Let the second portion go through. Mubeen will explain about the course. In that itself, he'll explain. But definitely the third section, we have exclusively to talk about placement. We'll definitely discuss about that. Okay. Then we have student Amal. I currently work only with bare metal programming. How can I transition to embedded Linux and RTOS development? Right. I think very well possible, Amal. That's a good point that you are telling, because when you are building a bare metal programming, you are relatively building whatever you call it as a single functionality device, right, with a microcontroller and the bare metal, right? So definitely when you go for a Linux, that is where you build multitasking applications, which is used in more complex devices, be it a router or a switch. That's in a way, it's a logically good transition, because we also see a lot of students, right, who spend some good amount of time in the bare metal programming and using a microcontroller, right? They can go up to some level in their career, but when they add Linux and the multitasking skills, right, definitely they can transition. Right? So definitely the modules, for example, the Linux internals and the embedded Linux modules will definitely help you to transition. But of course, you need to go through a sequence. Mubeen will talk about it. So you can basically make a transition. Yes, it's very much possible. Amal. It's good to know that you already have an embedded background. That will only help you further. Okay. Okay. And then Adarsha is telling, what's the duration of the course? How long is the course? Give me some time, Adarsha. Mubeen will explain that. Then we have Ayush Chaure. I have done BTech in EEE 2023. Got placement in medical device service, repair and maintenance. I want to shift my career in R&D manufacturing. So this help me. Yes, definitely. As I said already, 2023, 24. If you have some experience, you don't have any experience, and the previous question that we answered have some related to embedded, it can be any variant, because our students, when they come, I tell like in a lighter note, right? Our students are like 7 colors in a rainbow. They all come from different background. But that doesn't matter. Once you join in, how you take up the journey of skill building will determine basically how your resume will look like. Okay. And I also tell students that don't look into the past. Past anyways you cannot change. right? Whatever your experience, your qualification. And there are chances that we also have come across students, like even though they passed 2 years back, they did higher education, they did their family business, whatever could be the reason, right? Where the year gap is there. That's absolutely fine, Ayush. I don't see that becoming, a barrier in any way. Okay. Aditya is telling, can I continue this course with my academics as I'm in 7th sem? Definitely, yes. That's what I was telling the previous slide. To meet this requirement, the increased expectation, right? We are actually promoting, or we are actually actively advocating for this concept of starting early. Okay? Because typically what used to happen, students finish their engineering and then after that they come and do the course. I was telling another case of, students coming from the 7th semester itself. In fact, we are telling you should start from 3rd semester because their skill levels have gone high. So, but nevertheless, 7 semesters is a good time to start. I'm not, definitely the earlier you start, the better it is. So definitely you should consider, Aditya to opt for this course, right? Okay. Then we have Kotishwar Rao. I'm 2020 passed out, presently working in UAE, having 2 years of experience in the maintenance technician, ceramic industry. I am, planning to switch to my job to embedded side. Is it possible? Yes, definitely. The answer remains the same. Okay, Kotishwar Rao, what I answered to the previous guys. Okay. Then we have Naveen Ponnam, graduated in 2021 and from 2012 to 24, working as an electrical maintenance engineer in manufacturing company and presently working in FSC in Indus Towers Limited. I want to upskill myself. Is it possible for placements? 2011, okay, that looks quite a gap, Naveen, because it's like a 14 years batch you are, having. What we suggest is you can talk to our counselors and then check, what we can do. We can get you opportunities. As I said, good number of the companies open up for any year of pass out, but consider it's like quite a long gap, right? Your case probably need to be taken specifically. I request, you talk to our counselors and take a call based on that. Because one thing, you will figure it out as we speak. You can refer to all the monthly placements videos. It's all available in YouTube, right? One thing we don't want to do is something, which we commit and we cannot do it. We never say that, we never do it. We in fact try to do our level best every day, but we will not commit something which we are not sure of. So I suggest you talk to our counselors. Okay. What are the topics, Bhavya? Just wait for some time. Mubeen will cover that. Kota Reddy Jashwant is asking, I'm 2025 pass out from EC background, working in a service-based MNC company. Can I switch to core? Yes, definitely. Okay. The answer actually told, right? It applies to you also, Cora. Okay. Great. Thanks for the questions, guys. Let me see if Mubeen is available. Mubeen, are you there? We're able to join. Let me check whether he's able to join. Hello, Mubeen. Just give me a second, guys. Let me dial him. In case he's not able to, then I will continue. Okay, I think he is able to join. Yeah.
Yeah. So hope you can see my screen now.
Yeah, Mubeen. We are able to see your screen. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, please proceed. Yeah.
So all right. So what I will do is I will give an overview about the course which we are providing. So we have two courses. One is Embedded Systems course. We call it as ECP, Emertxe Certified Embedded Professional course. And the second one is ECIP, which is more focused on IoT-based learning. So I'll give an overview about these courses and I'll explain the pedagogy which we follow so that you get the best learning outcome. Followed by that, I will also walk you through a demo of how the actual classes are delivered, and so that you can get a first-hand feel of how the classes look like if you are opting for the course in the online mode. So we have course offerings both in online as well as offline mode. Then I will give a quick overview about how the online students can learn microcontroller programming using a simulator. And post that, I will also walk you through the learning management portal, which we share to our students, which can be used to submit the course activities as well as access resources which we'll be providing as part of the course. To start with, you can see on the screen the syllabus. So the syllabus is also available in our website. So we have two course offerings. One is the ECP course, other is the ECIP course. So ECP course consists of the following modules. So we have Linux systems, which is a basic course wherein we teach the concepts of operating system followed by commands which will be frequently used as a programmer. So Linux is quite popular among developers, and Linux is also used to develop embedded application as well as run embedded applications. So as a beginner, before we start the core topics, we will give an introductory course about Linux. Post that, we'll teach C programming. When you talk about programming languages, there are many choices available, and for different domains, the choice of programming language will be different. In case of programming languages like C, the advantage using C in embedded system is that embedded systems have resource constraints. So C is quite suitable for developing applications in resource constrained environment because of lesser CPU speed as well as lesser memory and storage. So we'll teach C programming in detail from scratch. So not to worry, many a time students ask this question, okay, I don't have much of a background in programming. Is it necessary to learn something and take up the course? That's not the case. Anybody who does not have any background of any programming language can learn C, and we focus especially those people who don't know any programming language. So we'll teach C extensively. So as such, C programming will be taught from scratch, and we'll also focus on the embedded systems programming concepts here. For example, when you talk about embedded system development, there are certain concepts which are very much required to be proficient. For example, there are concepts like pointers, there are concepts like bitwise operators, right? And there are concepts related to, for example, arrays, functions, etc. But mostly there are topics which are required for an embedded engineer. We'll be focusing a lot on that. So we'll teach extensively on C programming from scratch. Then we'll move on to other modules, including C++ programming. So nowadays we are seeing that companies are moving from C to C++ also, not larger chunk, but a good chunk of companies are moving from C to C++ programming because the hardware has become more powerful. So C++ programming is quite used nowadays for developing more complex application because of the advantage of object-oriented programming concepts. So apart from C++, to strengthen the problem-solving skills, we cover data structures module also. So data structures are essential nowadays so that you can develop more efficient applications by using the right data structures. And more often, when you go for interviews, one of the favorite topics, right, asked for interviews is data structures, right? In embedded system, it's not necessary to gain proficiency in advanced data structures, like, for example, graphs and advanced algorithms. We'll teach the necessary concepts which are required for embedded software engineers in this module. Post that, we will talk about microcontroller programming. So microcontrollers are heart of the embedded systems, right? So we are learning programming languages, but the idea is to program a controller which will run on a specific application. So earlier Jayakumar shared some of the companies and the area which they work on. For example, we have companies like LG who work on consumer electronics, wherein they want to develop applications for, let's say, a smart TV. There are companies who work in the automotive sector, wherein we need to develop different products for different ECUs, electronic control units, in an automobile. For example, in a car, you have uh, tens of ECUs. There are ECUs which control the engine, there are ECUs which control the ABS, there are ECUs which control the climate control system, etc. Now, all these are domain specific applications, but we are going to teach microcontrollers in a from a perspective wherein you're going to learn the fundamentals and apply them in different application areas. So our courses are taught in a generic way to start with, but as you learn the concepts, will help you build projects, and these projects can be relevant to a specific domain. So microcontroller will be taught extensively. We learn about interfacing of the peripherals, you learn about interrupts, you learn about timers. You will also learn about protocols like I2C, SPI, CAN, etc., UART, and so on. And post that, we will teach about Linux internals. So in Linux internals, our focus is primarily on learning about the system calls, concepts related to multi-threading, concepts related to multiprocessing, how multiple threads and processes can communicate with each other using inter-process communication, so that we can build more scalable applications, we can build more responsive applications. For example, if you take a system which has multiple peripherals and many things to be done simultaneously, right? So then we have to think about how we can efficiently design multi-threaded applications, right? So these concepts will be covered in detail in the next internals. And the end, you learn about TCP/IP protocol as well as socket programming. Let's say you want to communicate between two different machines. You might have heard about client-server architecture, etc. We'll teach the fundamentals of TCP/IP protocol, and we'll teach you something called as socket programming, which will help you to communicate between multiple machines in a client-server architecture. And in the end, we'll teach a subject called as embedded Linux on ARM. So when you talk about microcontrollers, there are different types of microcontrollers. There are microcontrollers which are 8-bit and 16-bit. There are microcontrollers, again, which are 32-bit and 64-bit, which can run an operating system like Linux. So when the complexity of the application increases, we end up using operating systems like Linux to develop a full-fledged application on top of an operating system. So in such cases, we should know how to build our own operating system from scratch. So since Linux is open source, we will teach you how to download the operating system and how to customize and build a Linux from scratch. And we'll also teach the relevant concepts to basically build the file system, build the application, etc. in embedded Linux. There is an additional module if you're opting for offline course, which is called as Qt QML programming. So this is available in the offline mode. It's not available in the online mode. But if your online students are interested, they can opt for it later, but it's not part of the meta course as such. So Qt primary focuses on UI-based application development. For example, you look at a car, right? You have two screens. One is the dashboard, other is the infotainment system, right? So all these systems are embedded user interface applications. And if you want to learn how to build an application suitable for such clusters or industrial HMI, human machine interfaces, then Qt programming can be helpful. Especially, for example, you see even bikes and scooters, EVs, right? You have this UIs which can be based on Qt and QML. So we'll teach you application development for user interfaces as well. So these are the contents which will be part of the embedded systems course. Now there is another course on the similar lines, but is an extension and a fork from that course, which is focused on Internet of Things. Right nowadays, we see that we have applications which are mostly talking to your phone or talking to a server to get things done, right? So we don't have standalone. We see more applications which are not standalone, which have what do you say, sensors, actuators on those devices, but many times we see that this information which is available in the sensors is getting published to a cloud server, or it's going to communicate with your mobile phone or PC, etc. So IoT related course, IoT course which we are providing will focus on these subjects. We'll teach you Linux systems, we'll teach you C++ programming, which is also part of the ECP course. Then instead of teaching microcontroller programming, which is mostly focused on developing non-embedded non-IoT applications, here we're going to use Arduino programming, wherein we'll use Arduino's platform as well as ESP32 and the likes, so that you can learn how to get the data from the sensors and also send it to another machine like a cloud machine, etc. So you learn about Arduino programming using ESP32, using Arduino board, Uno also. Then you will learn additional programming language, which is Python. So here we are teaching Python because in IoT gateways, which is the next module, you may end up creating more sophisticated applications which needs to integrate with many such devices. Right? So if you look at a IoT based system, you'll have many nodes, which we call it as, in our case, Arduino nodes. And these nodes will communicate to a gateway. And this gateway application can be developed using Python because we need to interface many protocols and we also need to communicate with the cloud. So in IoT module, we have IoT gateway and protocol, as well as IoT cloud module, where we focus on setting up the cloud, configuring the cloud, right, getting data from the sensors and storing the data into a time series database, etc. Right. So this is mostly focused on the cloud side of IoT, wherein we get the data and derive meaning out of it. So these two courses are available for students to choose. In terms of the learning pedagogy, right? See here, on a day-to-day basis, on a daily basis, you will have class and lab. So class, we will focus mostly on concepts and some basic applications based upon those concepts, right? Right. And we have lab sessions. In the lab, we will focus on how we can apply those concepts by working on practicals which are related to that concept, right? So it is not just about understanding the theory for each of these modules, which I shared earlier. We'll apply those concepts by doing assignments and projects. So assignments are generally smaller in nature, which we can complete within a short time. For example, you can easily complete 2 to 3 assignments per day, and the complexity and the size of that assignment is smaller. Whereas projects are domain specific, module specific, and application oriented, wherein you can combine multiple concepts and get a bigger picture, right? For example, we have projects related to how you can communicate between two ECUs. ECUs are part of a car, right? So two different ECUs want to communicate and share, exchange information using CAN protocol, right? And there are many such applications which are module specific. So project, we have structured in such a way that we'll explain the requirements. We follow something called as SDLC, Software Development Lifecycle. We'll explain the requirements. We will do the design along with you, right? Then we'll start implementing the code as per that design. So by adding many projects in your portfolio, you'll be able to showcase your skills to the companies which are going to hire, right? So more projects you do, more skilled you are, right? That is the idea. So we'll make you do many projects as part of every module. In the end, for example, you should be able to easily complete 10 to 15 projects as part of the course, which is a big value add. And I don't think any other basically training organizations will help you complete these many projects. In the end, you'll have to take up some tests, quizzes, etc. So tests and quizzes help us assess you. We wanted to check what is your understanding of about each concepts. So this will be both objective test will be there, programming test will be there, subjective test will be there, combination of all three. So this will help you assess yourself. You will come to know where you stand in terms of your knowledge. Moreover, when you go for attending interviews, right? The companies don't directly take the interviews; they conduct tests, and similar questions will be asked in the interviews. So we are going to prepare you a lot by giving you a test, and you can take up these tests multiple times, etc., so that you can build the confidence and you can crack the interviews when you start applying for it. So we also have a non-technical track wherein we conduct soft skills based training. So these trainings are provided by a team of trainers who will be helping you understand why it's important to build soft skills, how to improve your communication skills, how to present yourself in an interview, right? What are the do's and don'ts which you have to follow when you attend an interview, etc. So this will help you give an edge, because many a time we hear from companies that, okay, your students are technically good, but they're not able to explain what they already know. So there is no point becoming only technically proficient. You should also be able to showcase these skills when you attend the interviews. So many a time, yes, there are students who are already proficient in communication, but there could be certain students who are not confident. So we'll help you build the confidence by delivering this soft skill based training also. So apart from this, you can also see we have dedicated placement preparation activities also going on as part of the course. We conduct mock interviews. So mock interviews, we have like two ways of conducting the mock interview. One is an AI based mock interview is there, wherein initially, right, before taking the actual face-to-face interview, AI will ask questions to you. Then you can answer those questions. You will also get a grade and a feedback based upon the interview you are taken. And this is mostly voluntary. There is nobody monitoring to you, but for the sake of practice, you can take up this AI-based interviews. Apart from that, we will also provide an option to take face-to-face interview with a mentor, so that you get a real feel of how interviews are conducted, right? So this will definitely help you build the confidence in attending real interviews, right? So that you can, right? Many people have barrier in terms of nervousness, right? We attend the interview, some people get nervous, etc. Those things you can easily crack. Example, will tell you what should be the dressing sense, how to introduce, right? How to explain the project. Those aspects will be taken care in the placement preparation sessions. Apart from conducting mock interviews, we do conduct interview prep sessions. Company-based interview prep sessions are conducted. We have a repository of previous interview questions, right? Again, it's more of like preparation. It's not, we are not recommending you to mug up these questions and go. More of preparation, because we have already done the code for 6 months. But when you start applying for companies, it's always important to brush up and be prepared. So module-based prep sessions are also conducted. And then other workshops like resume preparation workshops, right, will be conducted. So we have a dedicated placement team who will be closely working with the clients to bring in more companies, as well as work with the students to guide them in terms of how they should be attending the interviews, and also share updates related to the drives which are happening on a regular basis. Moreover, we have a dedicated student success team, and the student success team is pivotal in monitoring every student's performance, as well as counseling them and helping them move make progress in the course, right? Often we see that, yes, we attend a lot of technical sessions on a day-to-day basis, but you may need some moral support, encouragement, etc. Our student success team will be closely monitoring your performance, and in case you need any help, support, etc., you face any challenges, our team will be constantly in touch with you. You can get in touch with them and avail like support and counseling from the student success team as well. So overall, our training is not just like any other training organization. We take the training as a serious affair. It's a holistic training package which you're going to get. One is the technical aspect part of it, which is industry relevant. We have made sure that the syllabus is industry relevant, the projects are industry relevant, and we also extend support by providing like counseling, soft skill based training, interview prep sessions, etc., so that you not only gain the technical knowledge, but you are able to achieve your goal of getting placed in a company. So in terms of how the course is delivered in the online mode, I'll be playing two short videos. Again, these are shorter videos. Just wanted to give a first-hand feel of how the online courses are delivered. So you can watch these videos, then we'll resume the session. So let me play the videos. So this video is for the C programming module. One of our mentors is explaining the topic arrays. Again, in the actual session, there will be a lot of interaction. Here, the interaction part we have trimmed. Only the explanation part is there. But in a real class, you'll be asking questions, mentor will be explaining as well as answering your questions and so on. Let me share the C programming demo video now.
These are the total memory allocated. Now, after an array has been declared, maybe I want to give the values into the array, because just the array's declaration will have garbage value. Assume I take int array of size 5. Okay, there has to be 20 bytes of memory allocated. Assume this is the 20 bytes of memory allocated for the array. So I'm storing 5 integers. So each integer takes how many bytes? Each integer takes how many bytes? Correct. So each integer takes 4 bytes. So if the starting address of the array is 1000, where will be the next element present? If the starting address of the array is 1000, where will be the next element present? Assume this is 1000. Where will be the next element present? Yes. Each of the element uses 4 bytes. So it is 1004, then 1008, 1012, 1016. To access the array's element, you have to go with something called as the index number. An index number varies between 0 to size minus 1. So very first element will be in index 0, second element will be in index 1, third element will be in index 2, fourth element will be in index 3, and fifth element will be in index 4. Okay. If you just declare the array like this, the array's element will have garbage value by default. So in order to not have a garbage value present inside the memory block, maybe I want certain values to made sit inside it. In such cases, I have to do the array's initialization. To initialize the array, here inside the curly braces, I have to give 5 elements: 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. In that case, that value will be written here. That will be 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Okay, this is how I declare the array. This is how I do the initialization, and this is how the memory for the array will be allocated. Accessing happens with respect to the index number varying between 0 to size minus 1. See here, data type, name, size, where size represents the number of elements. So the total memory occupied by the arrays, number of elements multiplied by size of an element. That is in turn size into size of the data type. If this is the array I'm going to take of 5 size with the values 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, this will be the array. So the very starting address of the array always is called as the base address of the array. This address 1000 will always be called as the base address of the array, or you can also call it as starting address or address of the very first element of the array. All of them means the same, but we usually refer it as base address. Okay, you can call it as base address, or you can call it as the starting address, or you also can call it as the address of first element. Okay, the starting address is called as the base address or starting address or address of the first element of the array. So then it is plus 4 plus 8 plus 12 plus 16. Index has to vary between 0 to size minus 1. So it has to be starting from 0. An array is a collection of similar data type. Elements occupy consecutive memory locations. First element will be in the lowest address and last element will be in the highest address. Elements are indexed from 0 to size minus 1. So if the size of the array is 5, index will vary from 0 to 4. Accessing out of the range array elements would be an illegal access. So whenever you have to access the elements of the array, you have to go with the name of the array, then the index number. Okay. So array of 0, array of 1, like this, you have to go with the index number. So if the index number varies between 0 to 4, I can access only between array of 0 to array of 4. Out of the boundary, that is accessing array of minus 1 or accessing array of 5 is not allowed. It is an illegal access where you might get to see a error. So accessing out of the range array elements would be illegal access. You should not access the elements in array of minus 1 and array of size. And once the memory for the array is allocated, it can never be altered in the runtime. That is, while executing the program, the array size can never be modified. So if you declare an array like this, it will be 20 bytes of memory allocated for sure. So this size can never be altered throughout the program. Again, here in double denum of size 6, there will be 48 continuous bytes already allocated. You never get a chance to increase or decrease the size once it has been allocated. So this is the concept of array. Clear this much? Okay. So have this one noted. The next we will see is how to print the elements of the array. Okay. So there are different ways of printing the array's element, which we will be seeing shortly. Before that, have this one noted. So the next we have got is to print the array's element. So when you are supposed to print the array's element, we usually go with the name of the array and the index number. But that has to be done on a repetitive manner. So what is it necessary to be used? What is it necessary to be used if I have to print? Yes, loop is definitely necessary. So I can print the array's element in any of a loop considered. Observe. Okay. So first I try printing it in a for loop. Int array of size 5. I also do the initialization with 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. I need another integer variable I for the sake of index. So I will first say it as printf arrays elements are. Okay. So I run a for loop for I is equal to 0, I less than 5 and I plus plus, because 5 is the size of the array. Inside this, I go with the printf. Sorry. Yeah, so printf %d \n comma array's name with index. Okay, so first array of 0 will be printed when I will have a 0 taken, then array of 1, then array of 2, array of 3, array of 4. When I becomes 5, 5 lesser than 5 will be condition false. You come out of the for loop. Observe the output here. So I'm compiling and executing. These are the arrays element which I am printing using a for loop. Let me change this.
So that was a very short demo about one of the topics, which is arrays, wherein the mentor explained about how to create the array, how internally the memory is organized, and how we can write a simple program to print an array using a for loop. So this was for the C programming module. Let me share another video for the microcontroller module, wherein we use a ID called as MPLAB ID and use a simulator, which will help us run the microcontroller program even without using a real hardware. So you can have a look at this video as well.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone. In today's class, let's see how we can write an embedded program to toggle the LEDs connected to the board bit. So now to write the embedded program, we are going to use the tool MPLAB XID. So you can see here. So this is the MPLAB XID. If you open this, you will see this as a starting page. So some projects are mentioned here, data sheet is available here. Even if you worked on some recent project, that list is available. See, and even you will get the microchip login. So if you have a login ID password, you do the login, and you can do the purchase on a microchip website, right? Okay, so now let me go back to the question. So question was, we wanted to toggle the LEDs connected to the port D. So now here in this MPLAB ID, you can see these are the different tools available. So we can use these tools as per the requirement. For example, this is to create a new file. It's to create a new project. It is to open the project. This option is to do the build. You can see different menu options are there. So as per the need, what we will do, we will take an approach. Whatever we need it, we will start using those things. Now here in this MPLAB XID, I already created a project and kept it ready. So project name is what? LEDs. So in this project, I created. So when this project is created, this MPLAB XID create some organized sections. You can see here. So now to write this program, to write the embedded code, we need a main.c. So generally .c files goes here in this source file sections, header files goes here, make file will go here, linker script will go to this section. Or if you need any libraries, if you are planning to add any libraries, then those goes into this section. And finally, this is the place for your executable file. So let me go to the main.c. So you can double click and open the main.c in the editor window. So now you can see I'm defining two macros. So instead of using port D directly, so what I did, since if you see the hardware on the hardware, so you are having total 16 LEDs. So this is the PiximLab simulator board. So it's having total 16 LEDs. So currently we are going to toggle LEDs connected to the port D. These are the these are the 8 LEDs out of 16. So these 8 LED array we are going to toggle. Toggling means on off we are going to do. So now since I'm having 8 LEDs, I'm defining the micro LED array as a port D, and to give the direction to the port pins, there is a register TRISD. I'm defining that with name LED array data direction register. Now you can see here comes my main. So here I'm calling init config function. So this function is to do the initialization. So what we are doing, so in main itself, we are not doing initialization. It doesn't look good. So there is a separate dedicated function to do the initialization. It is init config. So control will go here and here in this init config. So initially what we are doing, if we are using LED, we need to set the pin direction as output. So I'm writing my LED array data direction register as a 0. It will set port D pin as the output, and to start with initially I will keep all LEDs connected to the port D as a off. So to turn off the LED, I need to load 0. So I'm writing here 0. So LEDs remain off, fine. And here comes our while one. So if you see any embedded system, once you turn on the embedded system, it runs forever, right? It goes into infinite loop. So here comes my infinite loop while one. So inside this while one, we are going to write our application. So what is our application? We wanted to toggle the LED. So here is my instruction to toggle the LED. So I'm writing LED array equal to tilt of LED array. So what it will do? It will toggle the values of this LED array. If it is 0, it will make it 1. If it is 1, it will make it 0. So now you can see. So this is what 0x00. So after execution of this instruction, this LED array value becomes 0xFF. So entire port becomes 0xFF. All port bits become 1. So all LED turn on. LEDs are going to be turned on. And here what I'm doing. So before going to this instruction once again, I'm putting the delay. So if this delay is not there, what happens? We will not be able to see the LED toggling. So it will happen at very faster rate. Due to the persistence of region, we will not be able to capture it. So I added the delay. Then after this delay, what happened? Next time, since we are in the while one, control will go back here. So again, we are changing the LED array value from what? FF to 0. So now what happened? LED become off, then again delay. So like this way, we are making LEDs on, LEDs off. Fine. Now. So we have to build the code, we have to compile the code. How we can do? So here in this mplab xid, I install x8 compiler. So that's why this header file is also included related to the compiler. So now how you can do the build? So you can see here is one option to do the build. So let me click on that. It will start doing build. My project is getting a build. Now you can see build is going on. So it will take some time, please wait. Now see, build is successful. That means your hex file is created, and even it will give you the memory summary of your project. So now my hex file is created and it is loaded also. Now what we can do? So we can load that hex file where? In this board. So we can run that hex file here in this microcontroller. So this is the heart of this board. So basically here we are using PIC16F877A microcontroller. So we are going to load the hex file here. How? So you can go to the file, you can select the load hex. You have to navigate wherever your project is stored. So let me navigate. So now, just for the sake of simplicity, I kept the project on the desktop. So let me select that. Now again, you have to go to the distribute directory. So basically, you have to use this path. After build successful, it is prompting the path where X file is available. I'm just referring that. Then you have to go to the default production. Here is the X file. Let me open. Okay, expected output is what? These LEDs should toggle, but it's not happening. Why? Because these DIP switch related settings are not done. So to turn on the LEDs connected to the port D, this DIP switch, second one, you have to pull this switch up. So let me do that. So it's down, you have to pull it up. So let me select. Now you can see the change here. So what this program is doing, it's running in this microcontroller and it is toggling the LEDs, and even we are able to see that toggling very clearly, right? Okay, so this is our program, our embedded code to toggle the LEDs connected to the port D. Fine.
All right, so that was again a demo for microcontroller module, wherein the mentor was explaining how to toggle an LED, which is blink an LED, by writing a C program, by writing something into the port, then adding a delay, followed by again changing the value of the port. So we can toggle the LED by using the GPIO pins, right? That concept was explained. So don't worry, again, this was a video taken from an existing completed course. In our actual courses, we will be explaining things more in detail before you start the coding part, right? But here you can observe that the mentor was using an ID which is called as MPLab ID. So we were using a PIC-based microcontroller from Microchip, and she was able to run the application without using a real hardware. Now, there are two options. One is you can get a hardware and you can dump the code into the board and then see the output based on the peripherals which are available on the board, or you can use a simulator like the PixSimLab simulator, which will help us run any application, and the same code which you run on a real hardware will work on the simulator as well. So I'll just share my screen to show the simulator in action. As you can see here, so this simulator, PixSimLab simulator, supports many boards, right? We have support for Arduino boards. It has support for Blue Pill board, which is based upon STM32 ARM-based controller. There is support for ESP32, which can be used for developing IoT-based applications. It has support for PIC-based microcontroller and many more, right? So this simulator you can use to run applications without the need for purchasing a hardware. You have the option to procure a hardware also. So in those who are opting for the online course, they will be using this simulator to run the application. Those who are opting for the offline course will get access to the hardware, right? But there are more advantages of the simulator because you can choose any controller, any board which is available, and you can practice different basically microcontroller programs. And the other advantage is that testing becomes very easy. You can easily interface more peripherals, right? So these are the peripherals which are available on board. So on top of it, for example, you can interface more peripherals. So in this case, you can see right here on screen, you have the controller, which is PIC microcontroller, and you have several other peripherals, including, for example, you have this LCD is available, you have a lot of LEDs available, right? Then you have potentiometers, you have a cooler, and there is a matrix keypad over here, right? And there is a virtual terminal for serial port wherein you get the output onto the console over here, right? And you can see there is an RTC, right? There are relays. So advantage of using this simulator is that you can you can interface with different peripherals. That way you get a broader access, and you can easily test your programs without the need for having a real hardware, right? So just wanted to appraise you of that. And you can also like switch between controllers. For example, we have support for Arduino Uno, right? For those who opt for the IoT course, they'll be working on this Arduino Uno, as well as you have access to other controllers as well, right? For example, we have the ESP32 board, ESP32 dev kit is available, right? Wherein you can like communicate with the cloud platform also, because it has support for Wi-Fi also. So here again, it's simulated, so it will be using the system's network to communicate with the cloud or the other system as well, right? So this was about the course demo as well as the simulator which we're using. In the end, I just wanted to walk you through the learning management system LMS portal, which you will get access to. See, as you can see here, so this is a login for one of our students. So when you get access to the LMS, you'll get access to all the modules which are part of the course, and this particular student has opted for the ECP course. So here you can see there are many modules, access to multiple modules. This one is the C programming module, which I explained in the earlier session. So you will get access to C programming, C++, data structures, Linux internals, Linux basics. You have the microcontroller module, embedded Linux and ARM. Apart from that, there are some additional courses which are related to interview preparation, right? You can see interview preparation sessions are also available. Disha workshop also is available. So these courses will contain all the resources required for you to complete the course. So this is the page for Advanced C module. In Advanced C, you can see here we have divided the course into multiple chapters like basics of C, conditionals, etc. So all the topics will be explained in detail. You also get access to projects here, right? Different projects are available. You can complete multiple projects as part of the course. Then you have access to quizzes. I mean, multiple quizzes are also available. Get access to objective test. You get access to programming test. And there are many assignments also, right? You can see here we have virtual programming lab and this, and recordings also, class recordings are also available. So those who opt for the online course, you get access to the class recordings so that you can watch these videos later also and you can revise it. So in terms of lab, we have something called as virtual programming lab environment, wherein you can run the program in the browser itself, right? You can install it. Yes, you can install VS Code and try the program. But here we have the facility to run the program. For example, here, right? I can run the program inside the browser itself and we can test it out, right? So I can enter something like 10, right? Ticket price it shows. So you get access to this virtual programming lab, wherein there is auto evaluation also. So I can so you might have heard about platforms like HackerRank, LeetCode, etc. Right? So it's similar interface wherein you can write the code, you can evaluate it, you can see the results, for example. Okay? So those type of things will be available, and you'll also get an automated grade with a score. So in summary, you get all the access to all the resources. You get access to the slides. These are the slides for the C programming module, which mentor will be using to explain. It also will be shared to you, wherein we teach everything from the scratch. You can see, right? These slides are quite useful and self-explanatory. We'll teach you the concept, even starting from basics of number systems, right? Small programs we'll start with, etc. All right, so that's it from my side. Hope you got an overview about what we'll be learning as part of the course and what access you'll get, how the online class is delivered, and overall how it's going to help you to get placed in a core company. These things were discussed. I also shared the detail about the simulator which you'll be using if you're opting for the online course. So if you have any questions, feel free to post the questions in the question pane. We are there to answer your queries.
Mubeen, you're able to see the questions, Mubeen?
Not much. I don't think any.
Okay, I think came after 7:49. Yeah. Let me also check.
Yeah, I think some questions have popped up. Okay.
Mubeen, there's a question from Vikas, and Rahul is consistently asking about the 2-year placement assistant. Rahul, just hold on for a minute. I will start the placement section.
Okay.
We'll definitely answer your question. Vikas is asking, this is a basic course. Do you have any advanced level course for working professionals? Mubeen, you may want to address this.
Yeah, I think because it's good if we can have a conversation with our course counselors, even though we start from the basics. So we are covering like 7 to 8 modules as part of the course, wherein you'll be working on several assignments and projects. I can also share the list of projects which you will also get to work on. Let me share my screen again. Right. So yes, these are the modules which you're going to teach, right, as part of the embedded system course, as well as IoT course. And these are the projects which you'll be working on at some of the projects which we have shared to our students. It's not necessary that you have to work on all the projects. For example, every module we can work on different projects. For example, in Advanced C, you can work on projects like LSB image steganography, MP3 tag reader, lexical analyzer, right? Data structures, again, there are projects related to arbitrary precision calculator, right? Inverted file-based index, which is based upon hash table, red back tree, again, which is an advanced tree implementation, etc. Right? Similarly, in microcontroller programming module, there are like several projects which you can work on, like car black box, which will use several peripheral interfaces, CAN-based automotive dashboard, wherein we'll implement a simulated ECU interface, and so on, right? Different projects are available for different modules. In Linux internal, for example, there is a list of 7 projects wherein you can work on multiple projects. For example, implement a TFTP server by referring the TFTP protocol. You can implement, for example, a multi-threaded inverted file index search, which uses multi-threading, synchronization, bucketized mutexes, etc. Stock market server you can implement. So these are some of the portfolio of projects which you can work on as part of the course which you are availing. In case you have more queries, I think we can have a separate discussion. We can share the details of our course counselors. We can have a discussion with them to understand what is your requirement. So other questions, maybe Jayakumar, you can pick it up.
All right, Mubeen, I think let me further take up some questions. Thank you, Mubeen. Thank you for detailedly explaining the technical aspects of the course. And naturally, the questions will move to the placements, right? Initially, there were some questions about eligibility, etc. Then naturally, the course thing will move towards the placement side. So there are some questions. Let me just answer one by one. So Rahul, this is for you to start with. Can you please explain about the 2 years of placement assistance, right? Okay, this is actually the question that we face every time. In fact, every student has got this question. Good that you ask. Many of them, I'm sure, will have the similar question in their mind, right? See, when Mubeen explained the modules flow, right, starting with the Linux system, C, C++ programming, data structures, and subsequent modules, right? In that, once you complete the data structures module, our mentors basically will be conducting something called placement eligibility test. Okay, the placement eligibility test primarily will check your programming knowledge, primarily the C programming knowledge, what you learned, because if you see C, C++ and data structures, predominantly your focus is on C, right? So once you complete your, once you clear your placement eligibility test, right, you can start applying for placements. Okay. So when you start applying for placements, I'll show you shortly the Google group where all the placements will be published depending on the company and era password. We'll also can share you some examples of companies hiring the previous era password and stuff like that, right? So you can see that and you can start applying for that, right? So which means to say that you don't need to necessarily wait for the course to complete. This is point number 1, right? Then talking about the course 2 years of placement support, the 2 years of placement support starts from the time you complete the course. Okay, the 2-year window which our counselors would have typically explained to you, right? That starts after the completing your course. But as I said, you don't need to wait till that. You can start after you complete probably the 4th month or so. After the 4th month, you can start applying for placements. Okay. So during those placements, after you complete the course also, right, definitely you can keep on applying, working on more projects. And then our team is also actively, this is also another question we also hear, right? Sir, after course gets over, would you support us, right? So in fact, we are more active with the students who just completed the course. Right? We are trying to reach out as many students as possible, right? Giving them guidance. So that way, not only that you can apply, our team, our student success team and our placement team, right, will continue to support you. And then, for example, suppose there is some corrections need to be done in the resume, right? Or, for example, you need to work on more projects because we sent you a few companies, but you did not get selected, right? So there is a gap. So how do you work on this? So we continuously work to ensure that we do our level best, in this 2-year period, okay, to support you. You can apply as many companies in the 2-year window, okay? And then definitely client we have to shortlist, and as long as you're shortlisted, you can go and attend. But important part is you need to keep on showcasing more skills, right? So that's how the 2-year window works. So Rahul, hope it is clear. Okay. Adarsha is asking, could you please repeat how can I get join the online course? Same procedure, Adarsha. You can get in touch with our team of counselors, and then they will be guiding you. It's the same procedure in terms of online or offline registration, right? You can get in touch with them, right? Or if you need, I can also ask the other student, right? Boy Shivila, I just shared the detail to my team already, our team of counselors. If you can share me your email ID, or I can pick it up. Let me just check Adarsha whether I can. Yeah. So let me. I think I could see that Adarsha M. I'll also arrange a call from your team. Adarsha. Okay. So I noted down your email ID. I'll also arrange a call back from our team. They will, explain about the process. Very simple process. You don't need to, worry much. Okay. Then Narendra Singh asks, I am student of electrical engineering. Will this course will definitely Narendra? Okay, this is the course for electrical engineers, electronic engineers, computer science, IS, right? So definitely any branch students can do this course. Absolutely yes. Okay. How many members attended the aptitude test of a recent company? So Deepak actually Deepak actually, as I said, no, we process today itself, as I was telling, right, in the beginning, right, today itself we process 7 applications, okay, because there's also holiday, right? So we are sending the list today, right? It depends. Okay, every day I would say, I don't know, number wise it's hard to predict, right? But yeah, every day some other process keeps happening. Okay, test, interviews, first round interview, second interview, the HR interviews, then we exchange congratulation messages, right? Placement is a daily activity for us, similar to the training. Okay. Is LMS portal available for offline students? Yes, both the students will have access to the LMS, what Mubeen has shown you. But only difference is for the online students, they will also get a recorded version of the video. Since the delivery mode is online, they get a recorded version also in the LMS. Okay. In the offline students, anyways, are attending physically, right? So the recording doesn't have a validity there. That's the only difference. Both the students, in terms of resources, placement support, everything, we get the same thing between online and offline. Okay. So is it clear, Rahul, Deepak, Narendra? Thanks for asking those questions. Okay. So what we'll do is now, as I said, we discussed about 2 sections now so far. The first one was about the job market trends and stuff like that, right? The second section is about the technical course delivery, right, and how the module works. So now we'll talk about the third section, which is nothing but the placement part of it, right? Probably I'm sure we'll have more questions. We can discuss that also. Let me share, and also I can walk you through our Google group and our this thing, right? So let me just share. Okay, so what is that PPT? Yes, it's here. Yeah. So let me open that slide again. Yeah. So placement, as I said, the students, once they complete the data structures module, they can start applying. The notification will come in the Google group. I'll show you shortly. Then you can apply. Then we'll do something called internal shortlisting. Internal shortlisting is more of a filtering, basically the screening. Because sometimes students who are not eligible will apply and things like that. So our idea is to get maximum shortlisting. Then we share the list with the client. Definitely the client also can apply some additional algorithms and shortlisting. Then they'll revert back with the list. And then the written tests and interviews will happen. And then the offer release and onboarding, right? So this is how the process works. So this can happen when you are doing the course also, or even after you complete the course also, you can continue to apply. I think I clarified that, right? So this is basically the process, a very simple process. So let me just show you guys the Google group. Let me just unshare for a minute. Let me open that screen, and then so I'm just opening my Google group. Let me share. Hope it's visible to all of you. So let me see. This is how the Google group works. By the way, this is a student-only Google group. Only after you join the course, you'll get access to this. You can see the, every day you can see an activity here. You can see today itself, there are like, October 21st, 23rd, today itself, there are 2 new companies got floated, right? Yesterday there were like, 3, 4 companies. Okay, yesterday probably 5 companies came, I guess, right? Or 6, you can see yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 companies are, because there's a chutti, right? So still not 100%. I think Monday only we'll be having all the companies coming back. In fact, students also are on leave this week. A lot of the mentors also taken off. Again, Deepavali is a longer thing, but you can see yesterday itself, right? Where I guess Wednesday we were like holiday in Bangalore. After that Thursday we had so many applications. You can see here every day there'll be applications coming up here, right? Yeah, and then you can see that who got placed, right? Every detail will be very clearly mentioned here. Okay, now what we'll do is let us take some examples of basically how the era pass out, since there were some questions, right? So let us take, for example, Max Linear, right, which is one of the premium semiconductor companies which just came recently. You can see the modules here, right? 65% throughout is the academic criteria. 25 pass outs can apply, and then these are all the branches you can see there. And then there's a premium company, 10 LPA, the no bond, right? What is the mode of entry, when you can work, right? What is the link to apply? So all those things basically, you can very well check here. Everything is made, transparent here, right? And there is a last date to apply first 14th one, right? This is an example of a company preferring a 24 or a 25 batch student, right? We can also go back and then check, probably another company. Let us say, for example, Proton Networks, right? Proton Networks is one of the networking Wi-Fi networking company, been there for a while now. Okay. And then you can see this company, CNMC module, right? CN Python module can apply. No YOP and no percentage criteria. And then you can see, right, 2.4 LP is a cell. Okay. So there is a lot of permutation combination works here in terms of, what do you call, in terms of your, I think, for example, LG Soft India, again, you can see, they're open for, let's say 20, 23, 24, 25, 60% throughout academics, and then 7.5 is the LPA. Okay. So like this, you can see this information will be accessible to you. And once these companies, conduct the drive is what, you saw the social media, right? This is an internal thing, right? So this is very much available for the students. That's how the process works, right? So let me share some more thing here about the process, right? Which we saw that how you can apply for the process, right? And then many points we discussed. Till how long we get the placement opportunities, we clarified that, right? Can I choose between 2 job offers? Generally, I don't know why this is not coming this webinar. People ask it. So we always go with 1 job offer. Whatever offer first coming, you need to pick it up, because we don't want a scenario where one student get 3 jobs and another student is prevented from attending those interviews. So we go with 1 offer, whichever first offer you can get, but there's no force. If you say you want to wait and apply for a particular company, you can do that as well, right? Should I apply to all the companies? Up to you, your choice, right? What type of companies are hiring? We saw that, just show the glimpse. It is like all combinations, permutation combinations. So, startups, mid-sized companies, MNCs, right? Again, they work in different technology with different verticals like automotive, robotics, EVs, and the networking and consumer electronics. When I say consumer electronics, mobile phones, wearable devices, right? A lot of domains. Pretty much everything in the semiconductor electronics domain is where the companies are coming from. I'm having an year gap, as I already said. We already answered that, right? If you're a working professional, this is again question we get saying that you have a notice period. What should we do, right? Notice period can be facilitated. Basically, companies do wait for you to serve the notice period and come. In case like there can be scenarios a company select 2 students. One is a fresh student, another is a working professional, right? Okay, that way the fresh guy who is available, they can join immediately. But the student who is basically working, they can serve the notice period and join. So options are available. You don't need to worry about that. Okay. And another thing that you might have heard from our counseling team, or you might have seen in our website, is the certification part. Basically, let me just unshare a minute and then share a certificate. Basically, we are one of the affiliated training partner. They call TP, training partner with Electronic Sector Skill Council of India, or ESSCA, right? So ESSCA is one of the skill sector which focuses on building the skills for electronics students, right? So here, basically, the students who take up this course, they can also apply for the certification and get it. That's a level 5 certification from the Government of India. Let me just open in a minute. Just a minute, yeah. Let me just show it in the screen for a minute. Slightly an old template, but template also has recently changed, I guess. But nevertheless, this is what pretty much it has got in its screen. Yeah, so you can see here the right. So basically, this is an example, right? How the certificate looks. Skill India, NSDC. It's coming from the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, right? ESSCA is one of the sector skill councils. You can see there it's a level 5 certification, and we'll also put our institute name and give. It is an additional advantage, especially if you're going for higher studies abroad. I don't know, these days I don't know, a lot of geopolitical reasons students may not be interested, I guess, or chances are very challenging. But anyways, even you're switching between jobs, companies do consider this certification. But my point is, don't confuse this additional what is called credential, but companies largely go with the skill. Okay, so skill is important, not about paper. You have many certificates, but important is skill. Okay. All right, so yeah, so we are almost done. Let me come to the final slide. These are all the dates which is available in our website. I'm just flashing it for your reference. Hope I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. So August 28th, we are kickstarting an offline course. That year, we are kickstarting an online, what you call regular course. November 4th, we are kickstarting an online evening course. Right, online evening is the course, right? So this is all the dates, and this is the common email ID and the phone number of our team, right? You can reach out to them, counselor. They'll be able to explain other details, and couple of names which are taken up. I already, one of them I passed out or passed it already. Another one, others also I'll pass, so that our team will get in touch with you. They'll call you. You can come and meet them also in case if you are available in Bangalore. These are the numbers, right? Yeah. So again, this is our coordinates. We are located in MG Road, and then into the metro station. We have two facilities near to the metro station, just a walkable distance. And these are all our social coordinates. In case if you're not following, please scan a QR code and then follow us, like and subscribe to our social media channels. As I showed you already in the Instagram, right? Our team do shares a lot of, not only about the placement, they also share a lot of educational content about awareness contents about the domain, the industry, whatever we spoke in the beginning, right? They do share those aspects. Okay. So with that note, I would like to end this webinar with a note of welcome. When I say welcome, welcome to the domain of embedded systems. We covered a long aspect. If you see, it's like 9995 right now. Starting with the domain and job market trends, right? How AI and the geopolitics and the GCCs and the domestic electronics industry is driving the needs, and then subsequently we went into the the aspect of the course, how the course is going to deliver, the technicalities of that, and then we discussed about the placements, right? So that is how we concluded. Yeah, still there are questions. Let me just unshare my camera and then screen and then answer. Yeah, so currently I'm in seventh semester. Can I apply for jobs or wait up to my graduation? Yeah, that's a good question. Juturu Badula. Juturu Badula, I would say, see, companies, just wanted to clarify one point here. The recruitment that happens with Emertxe is different from how it works in the campus interview. In the campus interview, what happens, right? end of the third year, basically you for end of third year you attend the campus interview, wait for an year, and then you join after the fourth year. That's how the typical process works, right? Here the process is different because when they come to the campus, they come for a opening which is coming in the future, right? But whereas they come here in Emertxe, they are recruiting for a project which is already running. So which means to say what? They expect the students to join immediately. Okay? And of course, except the case of working professionals, which you already saw, right? So which means to say you should have completed your BTech and have your provisional degree certificate. Okay. But having said that, as I already told in the beginning, it is really good that if you're starting in the semester itself, so that you complete some good amount of the course portion, do more amount of projects, build your GitHub profile, build your lead code profile, build your hacker rank profile, so that when the opportunity is given, right, you are able to take it on very well. Okay, so that's the answer. Hope it clarifies. Monica is there. She's asking, sir, do we have placement process as aptitude GD technical, or it will be different with only direct technical interview? Okay, that's again a question. So it depends on the company. Okay, what I have seen is it will be whatever you mentioned, aptitude GDC will be there. It depends on the company. Okay, some companies will go for a direct interview, some companies, and some of the companies will directly go for an online interview, some of them will call. So it's purely up to the company. I would say it's a mix and match of all. Okay. So it depends on the company. Can I opt for the course in the second semester, Soundarya, Manjunath? Yes, you can. As I said, we are advocating somebody should start doing from the third semester itself, right? So the more you are with us, the more, don't worry about, what will I do if I finish the module, right? You need to build more projects. Earlier, I was telling students that you should build 10 projects. Now I'm telling, no, 10 is also not acceptable. Build 15 projects. Build all this lead code and, all your hacker rank. Then, because the expectations has gone high. I showed in the beginning, right? Like, the GCCs and thing, right? How they're making part of shirt and now you're making the entire shirt. The ball game has changed. So the earlier you do, the better it is. So that's the answer for 7th semester, 6th semester students, right? You should seriously give a thought. Okay. Any other questions, guys, girls? Any other questions, queries? Any comments, feedback about the webinar? Was it helpful? Did it clarify your queries? And this is a silver bullet I always tell in every webinar. You can go and check in the past webinar also, right? What is that we are trying to do here, me and Mubeen, right? We are trying to give a perspective of job market. We are giving about details about the course and the placements, right? And then we always say you are the best person to decide about your career, right? Our idea is to present the first-hand information and clarify your questions, and that's what we've been doing it month on month, right? Because why I'm telling you, when you're 21 and 22, right, or sometimes earlier, some of the 6, 7, 7, 7, 19, let us say 20, right? Kindly note, you need to make a decision which is going to basically, come with you for a longer period. We are talking about 40 years of career and things like that, right? So choose a decision, whatever you may choose, right? Give it your 100%. Really like what really choose what you like. Or sometimes that is also a discovery process. Try a few things and figure it out what you really like, right? And you are the best person to decide for your future. Okay, so please keep this in mind and take your decision. And definitely you all do very well, right? What is the course duration? 6 months. Yeah. So on that, yeah. So any other comments, queries? Was it helpful? Any comments about the webinar? Did it give you clarity? You get a better idea about how the industry works, where it is heading, how AI is affecting, etc., etc. Anything that you want to share? Looks like none. No other question. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? All right, no problem. So thank you very much, guys, once again joining to the webinar. In case you joined late or dropped out a little early, whatever it could be, we will share this material, whatever the deck we used, and also this video will be available in YouTube. You can see all the past course demo webinars also. Anytime you can reach out to our counseling team, and I will also ask them to connect with Employ and Adarsha. We'll do that. Okay. So thank you very much. Take care. Wish you all the best.